In this video, I'll do my first book tag, which is basically some questions about the Wheel of Time and what I think about it. So stay tuned for that. Hello everyone! Welcome to Ultimate Book Maniacs, the one stop for book and TV series reviews. I was working on my Wheel of Time terms explained video when Rebecca from Reading the Pattern told me about this book tag. This Wheel of Time book tag, which is called the Way Back Wheel of Time book tag, was created by Jenny from Lesbi Nerdy. I would like to thank both Rebecca for telling me about this book tag and Jenny for creating this awesome book tag. I got so excited about this book tag that I couldn't wait. I loved all the questions, so I wanted to post this video first. You can also participate in this book tag by sharing your answers with me in the comments below. Before I get to the questions, I would like to warn you that this video will be full of spoilers, especially if you haven't read any of the books. So if you haven't read the books, you should stop now. Let's get to the questions. The first question is, who are your favorite and least favorite couple? I was a little bit confused about this because there are two couples I liked the most, Androl and Pavara, and Swan and Gareth. Since I can only pick one, I'm going to go with Swan and Gareth. If you've read any of the romance novels, you'll find that Swan and Gareth's story has all the components in it. First, they dislike each other, but after Swan's stealing, they have a chance meeting, which is called the meet and greet, I think. They have the accidental meeting, and Gareth is so captivated by her blue eyes that he follows her all the way to Salidar and even accepts leading the rebel Aes Sedai's armies just so he could stay close to her. In the beginning, Swan is dealing with the grief of losing her warder and she doesn't like Gareth much, but slowly they create this bond and I loved what their relationship became in the end. As for my least favorite couple, I'll go with Egwene and Gavin, which is weird because I actually liked them in the beginning. Maybe it's just because I don't like Gavin much. In the end, he practically forced Egwene to make him her warder. And what does he do when he got what he wanted? When Egwene really needed his protection, all he wanted to do was just jump into the battle and go fight for glory. And later, he just went on a suicide mission and didn't even think twice what his death will do to Egwene. It almost took Egwene out of the battle. So maybe it's just because I don't like Gavin at all, so I'll just go with Egwene and Gavin as my least favorite couple. Moving on to the next question. What is an unimportant or a small moment from the books that you hope they'll keep for the show? I don't know if this will count as a small moment, but I loved Rand and Matt's journey from Whitebridge to Camelin. Rand and Matt were at their lowest point in these scenes. They've never faced anything like it, and they were on their own. Matt was dealing with the dagger's evil, and Rand was dealing with the grief of Tom's death. They were at their lowest point in these moments, but despite everything that was happening, they still took care of each other. I especially loved two moments during their journey. First was when Rand fell sick after using the One Power for the first time. Matt took care of Rand. He was almost half blind and he didn't trust anyone, and he was half mad from the dagger's evil, but he still took care of Rand. This was a very touching moment. The second moment I loved during their journey was when Matt gets so tired that he sits down on the road and says he can't walk anymore. But Rand just focuses on taking one step after another, and after a while, he finds Matt following him. I know these are very small moments, but I just loved the bond it represented. It just showed how close they were. Moving on to the next question. What is one of your favorite funny moments from the books? Matt and Nynaeve, duh. Every moment with them was my favorite. Just lock them in a room together and you can have a whole comedy series on its own. I loved Matt's moment when he keeps wondering which of Oliver's uncle was teaching him to curse and leer at girls when all this time Oliver was imitating Matt himself. And I loved when Nynaeve thinks, Men always seem to think violence could solve anything. If she had had a stout stick, she would have thumped all three of them about the shoulders until they saw reason. Only Nynaeve would think she could use violence to stop them from thinking about violence. But my most favorite funny moment was when Elaine and Nynaeve were forced to apologize to Matt. "I won't shout at you," shouts Nynaeve. This whole scene was just hilarious. The fourth question is, what's a moment from the Wheel of Time that makes you cry? I know it's about a very small character, but the answer is Fedwin Moore's death. When the Sun Palace was attacked by the Ashaman, Rand tells Fedwin to protect Min. This was the last task given by Rand to Fedwin. Fedwin succumbs to madness by the taint. He goes insane and he tries to tear down the building so he could create a tower to keep Min safe. Even after he went insane, he tried to do what Rand asked of him. Min had to give him toys to keep him from tearing down the whole building. And when Rand comes back, he has to give a poison drink to Fedwin to make him go to sleep forever. This scene was heartbreaking in itself, but it's made sadder by the fact that Nynaeve later discovered how to cure the madness caused by the taint. It makes you wonder, if only they had kept Fedwin alive, maybe he could have been healed. Do you think it was possible? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. The fifth question is, what is your favorite quote in the Wheel of Time series? Once again, it's related to Matt. I've already said in my previous video that Matt is my all-time favorite character, so most of my answers will probably be related to him. Technically, it's what's written on his Ashandarai, which is a polearm weapon with a short blade on top. It goes like this. Thus is a treaty written, thus is agreement made, thought is the arrow of time, memory never fades, what was asked is given, the price is paid. These lines are so beautiful and have a musical quality to it. Even before reading The Towers of Midnight, these lines just stuck in my head and kept playing in a loop. Another one of Matt's quotes, which is my favorite. Doviande Setovia Saigen. Luck, it's time to toss the dice. I think I won't be the only one who loves this quote, because I've seen many people quote it in this community. What's your favorite Wheel of Time quote? Let me know in the comments. The next question is, what is a missed opportunity with the one power? For me, I think it's Nynaeve's discovery of healing the madness. Nynaeve discovered how to cure the madness caused by the taint, but they don't do anything with it. I especially felt the need for this cure when we see Androl struggling with this madness when he sees shadows all around. He fought the shadow all the while dealing with this madness. Just imagine how much more he could have done if this madness was cured. I think the first thing Rand should have done after he found out that Nynaeve can cure the madness, he should have called all the loyal Ashaman to him and have Nynaeve cure them. Even if she had to leave for Tarvalon, maybe one day's delay could have been allowed. The next question is, who is your favorite side character? There are so many, it's really hard to choose. I loved Hopper, Birgitta and Anrol. But if I have to pick one, I guess I'll go with Birgitta. No wait, I'll go with Anrol. Despite not being very powerful in the one power, he found creative ways to use the little power he had. I loved how he made use of gateways. But Birgitta was also a badass. I loved her friendship with Matt and how she always rescued Elaine from her idiotic plans. And Hopper was so patient with Perrin when he was teaching him how to control the dream world. Nope, I'm sticking with Anrol. Let's lock it down and move on before I change my mind again. The next question is, what is a theory you had while reading that turned out to be completely wrong? That would be Egwene being Eldraine and Matt being Aemon Reborn. In the Eye of the World, when Matt and the others are running towards Shadow Logoth, Matt yells in the Old Tongue something like Karai an Kaldazar, Karai an Elisanda, El Elisanda. And Egwene says that for a moment there, she thought she understood what he said. And when they finally reach Shadow Logoth and meet Mordith, he eventually runs away screaming, "You were all dead." It almost felt like Mordith was scared of them. And these lines, "You were all dead," made me think that Rand, Perrin and Mat were all heroes in their previous lives, and they were all heroes reborn. Mat was speaking in the old tongue way before he met the snakes and foxes, so these memories were his own. I still hope that there is some possibility that I could be half right about it. Maybe about Egwene, if not about Mat. What do you think? Do you think it's possible? Let me know in the comments. The next question is, what is your favorite Wheel of Time culture and why? It's definitely not gonna be Shanchan. They kept humans as slaves, so I'm not gonna choose them. The Aiel are interesting too, but their thinking is too backward and I don't like some of their customs. So I'm eventually gonna go with the Tinkers. The Tuathan follow the way of the leaf. They are so loving and accepting of everyone, and their lives seem so peaceful. They just lead such a simple life, which is so rare. So it's definitely the Tuathan. And the last question is, who is a character from another book that would make a good Amyrlin Seat? The first name that came to my mind when I saw this question was Sansa Stark. She became really good at ruling in the end, and she learned how to play the games, and I think she would probably fit in with the Aes Sedai very well, but I'm not gonna choose Sansa for two reasons. First, this question is about another book, not the show, and in the books, Sansa is still in the Vale. She hasn't done anything yet. And second, I don't like Sansa that much. So I'm gonna go with Manon Blackbeak from the Throne of Glass series. I don't wanna spoil too much for you, so I'll give you a short description of her. Somewhere in the middle of the series, we meet this Iron Teeth witch, which basically works for the Dark One, if you talk about it in the Wheel of Time terms. So she's working for the bad guys. She has been raised to kill without mercy and to become hard. But after choosing her ride, Abraxas, which is a wyvern, she begins to change. She eventually becomes this badass leader. Manon has all the qualities that would make a good Amyrlin Seat. She has experience in politics, she can be harsh when she has to, and she can control her emotions, and she is deadly in a fight. She doesn't even need a warder to protect her. So it's Manon Blackbeak. Have you read the Throne of Glass series? Let me know in the comments. So these were all the questions, and now I'll tag two content creators for this book tag. First is Rebecca from Reading the Pattern, and second is Lauren from Unraveling the Pattern. I would have tagged Brian, aka Recapacidai from Wheel Talk too, but Brian doesn't do book tag videos. So I'm going to tag Reading the Pattern and Unraveling the Pattern. These are some really awesome channels. So if you're looking for more awesome Wheel of Time content, you should definitely check out their channels. So what do you think of these answers? Do you think Fedwin could have been saved? And do you think it's possible that Egwene could be Eldraine reborn? And don't forget to tell me your answers in the comments below. I'll post my Wheel of Time terms explained video soon. If you like this video, please hit the like button below, share the video and subscribe to my channel. Have a great day. Bye bye. See you in my next video.